And welcome to the Cult Cinema Circle podcast. My name is Jesse, and I'll be your host. So on today's episode, I wanted to do a little something for the holiday season. So you're hearing this just a couple days before Christmas. So I thought, what better way to bring in this holiday and to kind of, in a way, close out our year in a way, than to do a little movie called Santa Jaws from 2018. That's right. Now, I don't know if I've even talked about Santa Jaws like on the show. I probably have mentioned it in passing, but this movie, I first became aware of it. This is from 2018, as I said, and it is a film that is a sci-fi movie that was on the SyFy channel. And so, I first became familiar with it from my buddy Nathan from I Hope You Suffer, I think. It's on their feed. It was one of their episodes they did back a while ago. And then I saw that they did it kind of first, I guess, and love the movie. It's really just kind of a, sort of bad sci-fi shark movie in a way. But then I saw that like Girl That's Scary did it. I think that's probably like where I also heard about it as well. Because they do Home for the Holidays. They've done that like 3 years in a row. And one of the, I think it was the second or third year they did it, they definitely talked about Santa Jaws and how you just have to pull up on Santa Jaws. You know what I mean? You really do. And so like, yeah, but then I just kind of went down the Santa Jaws rabbit hole, if you will. And I thought, why the hell not cover it for my show? Because you know what, it's sci-fi movie, which are always, those movies just tend to live in like the so bad it's good realm or whatever. But yeah, I just thought, why not just cover this movie as a fun little thing for the holiday. Now, as I've already kind of stated already, like this movie is very much a kind of so bad it's good type movie. It's made by SyFy. It's within that kind of shark movie thing going on. But I do honestly think like this movie is kind of fun for what it is. It's not to be taken too seriously, I guess, but also it's a movie that I tend to enjoy, and that I think overall I've given it like at least like a 3.5. I think I gave it a 4 the last time on Letterboxd. But it is something that I do find fun, even though I absolutely understand that, maybe not all of it works all the time. And that it is like a low budget sci-fi horror movie. You know what I mean? So it's, we can't expect there to be like grand, sets or like grand, writing or any of that kind of stuff. But I think it's fun for what it is. But as we normally do on the show, we'll go over some brief, talk about the cast and the crew and stuff like that. We'll also move into really like what happens in the movie, I guess. And then just kind of have that fun little chit chat about that. But without further ado, let's move on to those figures of our film. So Santa Jaws was released August 14th of 2018, and it was distributed by SyFy, so it was on their television channel as a TV movie. We're looking at an 88-minute runtime, and then an estimated budget of about $700,000, so needless to say, it's a low-budget movie. There's no box office information for this movie, obviously, because it is a TV movie. And there really isn't much of a score in terms of critic review, because this is not a critic movie. It wasn't really reviewed by critics. However, on Rotten Tomatoes, it does have a 51% from audiences. So that's kind of fun. And it does have a Letterboxd rating. I think it was, last time I checked, I believe it was 2.4 out of 5. I think it's actually 2.2 now. That's what I see it as now. So yeah, that's what that is. Anyway, so yeah, but when you're talking about this movie in particular, you do have to bring up the director of the movie, Misty Talley, who has gone, and she's had a bit of an interesting career. She's been an editor, but she also has directed movies, mostly shark movies. So she did Ozark Sharks, Zombie Shark, and Mississippi River Sharks. Mississippi River Sharks, for those who don't know, has Cassie Steele in it from Degrassi. And I think also Jason London's there too, because he's in a couple of these movies. Also, you can check out from earlier, I Hope You Suffer, the podcast, because they've done episodes on these movies. So if you just want to listen to their episodes, I'm sure you probably could. But if you want to seek these movies out, go ahead too. But yeah, so then you also have the writer of this movie, Jake Kiernan. He is known for this. I don't think he really wrote anything else. The composer of this movie is Kevin Manthel. He actually has done a few things. So he actually did Invader Zim Enter the Florpus, which was the, I think, Netflix movie that came out, which was a continuation of the Invader Zim story, which was created by Jonan Vasquez, that was on Nickelodeon in the early 2000s. I loved Invader Zim, so it was cool to see that this guy who did the music for this movie actually worked on that movie that they did. He also did Batman Gotham Knight as well. So he worked on animated fare, like I said. And then our cinematographer is Matt S. Bell. He has also done some other shark movies. He did The Requiem, with Alicia Silverstone, which apparently is a really bad movie. But he did shoot that. And he also shot Ozark Shark with Misty Talley, because she directed it. I think Misty Talley has also directed like some Lifetime or like Hallmark movies as well. I don't remember what they are exactly, but I'm pretty sure she's also done that as well. And then our editor is Misty Talley and then Eva K. Morgan. So as I stated already, like Misty Talley came from editing. So for her, she did a couple of different things when it came to her being an editor. She actually edited Jeepers Creepers 3. And she's also edited a lot of her own movies too. So Ghost Shark, Ozark Sharks, she's also edited a couple of these movies like The Christmas Contract, My Southern Family Christmas, A Christmas Wish, things like that. So she's also done a lot of editing stuff as well. But she's only ever directed these shark movies. So I should have already known that, but oh well. But she's also like produced a couple of those like stupid Hallmark movies or whatever, so that's kind of fun as well. Hey, get the work where you can get it, right? So that's a little bit about that. And then also I think with Eva K. Morgan, she also did like Did I Kill My Mother? I think that was apparently something she did. That was a movie, because again, I don't think she Eva doesn't seem like she has like a ton of editing experience. I think Misty has a little bit more, honestly. So that's like our crew of the movie, that would be like, you know, kind of the notable folks on it. Trying to see if there's anything, and there's not much in terms of this. So like the stunts, for example, actually, let's talk about that a little bit. Stunts were done by Danny Cosmo. Danny Cosmo actually has done stunts for The Mist from 2007 by Frank Darabont, Antebellum, which had Janelle Monáe in it. Night of the Demons remake from 2009. He did the stunts on that piece of shit. Hell yeah. And Did I Kill My Mother? He also worked on that with that girl I just talked about with Eva K. Morgan. So that's fun. Cute. Trying to think who else. Did they also have casting on here? I'm looking on Letterboxd right now. Try to see. Ooh, wait a minute. Joe Kirkpatrick was the assistant director of this movie, and he did Haunting on Fraternity Row. What? That sounds like a blast, actually. That sounds like super fun. Did these casting people? Oh, goddamn, wait a minute. You are finding out all this stuff right here. So we also have the people who cast this movie, Donald Paul Pemrick and Dean E. Franck. So I think they're like a casting duo, because I think they've cast a lot of these different movies and shit. So I'm pretty sure they probably have done a lot of this stuff, like, you know, together. But they have cast things like, they also, I think they're just partners in casting. I don't think they... It doesn't seem like they are together or anything, but interesting. they cast like House of a Thousand Corpses. They also cast The Haunting of Sharon Tate, with Hilary Duff. Silent Night, Deadly Night 4. Oh God, they have done some bad movies. Ooh, let me see what else they did. Yeah, so that's what we're looking at. They cast a lot of these bad films that nobody knows about, pretty much, is what it looks like. Although, I think they also cast Angel 4 Undercover. And I love Angel, the original movie. I don't know about the sequels necessarily, but Angel's a fucking great movie. You should watch that in 1984. But yeah, that's fun. All right. That's the crew that we know about, I guess. I just thought I would tell you about those because why not? But now we're going to talk about the casts a little bit. So the cast of the movie, so we have Reed Miller, who plays, what is his name? Cody. So he was in like a movie called Joe Bell, which was a movie with Mark Wahlberg in it and Connie Britton in it. I think he was their son in the movie or something like that. I don't think it was apparently that good, but okay, whatever. But like, he did that. He did like a movie called Little White Lie. He's in a couple little things here and there, but he is our main character, Cody. We then have Courtney Lauren Cummings. She's not really much in terms of anything she's done, but she was in like Goosebumps 2 Haunted Halloween. She's in a movie called Searching, which has John Cho in it. She's in that as well. She's in there somewhere. So that's kind of fun. Peter is, I think, the dad of the film, and he's played by Jim Klock. He was in like Green Book, The Hunt, the Stanford Prison Experiment, a couple things like that is what he's done as well. So he's that. And then Carrie Lazar, who plays the mom of the film. She's Carolyn. She is like in Bad Moms. She's in Thor from 2011 by Kenneth Branagh. She was also in Jeepers Creepers 3, which again was edited by Misty Talley. Yeah, she's been in a couple little things here and there. Arthur Marroquin. He plays the brother. He is Peter, I believe. Or no, sorry, Josh. That's his name. Where did I get Peter from? But he didn't do a whole lot in terms of like other work that's like super notable. Miles Dolick, who is Mike. He is Uncle Mike. Funny enough, I have Uncle Mike. But he has actually been in like Renfield initially. He was in Renfield that just came out. He also is in... Oh, he was in Mississippi River Shark. He has been in just a couple of little things here and there. So he was in a couple of little movies as, other people. Now, here's the person I actually knew about before I knew she was in this movie. We have Haviland Stillwell, plays Georgia in this movie, who I kind of love her character. She's like really stupid and like an influencer, and I love her. But Haviland Stillwell, she is, so she was in like a Baywatch movie in 2017, Magic Mike XXXL, a couple things here and there, but she's also in the movie Now and Then. She's in the beginning part where they're playing Red Rover, I think. So I knew that she was in that, but she also is a queer woman. She is a lesbian, if I'm not mistaken. And she was on the Pandora Box show. You can probably find the podcast of it. But she was on there, back years ago now. And so, yeah, that was super funny because I remember watching that on YouTube or something, and I was like, oh my god, this woman's so pretty, like, and she's lesbian, like all this stuff. And then like and then also she's like the voice, one of the voices on Barbie Life in the Dream House. She has like a little bit of a voiceover career, and also she is in like a fucking weird ass like sci-fi movie about a shark. That's cool, like why not? So that's a little fun. So I knew who Haviland Stillwell was, which is why it was very surprising when she was in this movie. I was like, oh, I know who that is. Like, that's cool. And it's cool that she's also like queer as hell. She's like a big old lesbian. So I love that for her. Han Tran plays Steve in the movie, who's a little annoying, but he was in like We Have a Ghost recently by Christopher Landon. He was just in that movie not too long ago. He was also in Haunting on Fraternity Row and Scare Package 2. Who is he? Oh, okay, that actually checks out. Wait a minute. You're all finding this out on the fly with me right here, okay? Listen. You're damn right. I guess he is in there. Oh, well, cool. He's also in Scare Package 2. That's cool. He's in Eat Brains Love, I guess. Who the fuck was he in Scare Package? He was also in Scare Package. Wait a minute. Who was he in Scare Package? These are important things I need to know about right now. Okay, so he just plays Han. Okay, go watch the Scare Package movies if you want to, because they're actually a fun time. Girl That's Scary just did an episode on them, and I think you should go listen to that. But also go watch these movies. They're like super duper fun. And apparently this guy from Santa Jaws is in them. So I didn't fucking know that. You see what you find out when you're just doing this all... I only prepared so much, to be honest with you. Anyway... Then you have Clark, the comic book guy, but not like that comic book guy though. So he has not really been in much. He was in this movie. He's in Found Footage 3D, which is like a little weird 3D like found footage movie they decided to make. He was in Keeping Up with the Joneses, which I think was a movie that it has John Hamm and Isla Fisher in it, and Zach Galifianakis and Gal Gadot. That's fun. Richie Montgomery. Richie Montgomery, he was in... he's been in a couple of things. So he's been in, like... he plays the grandfather. He plays Papa. But he was in Django Unchained. He was in The Mist, which, again, comes back to this movie a little bit. Because the guy who did the stunts on this movie also worked on that movie. But he also did, like... he was in Princess and the Frog. He was in The Help somewhere. He was in Crossroads. What? Christine with Rebecca Hall playing that newscaster lady. Yeah. Oh. Interesting. I love that. Yeah, he's been in like a bunch of random ass like little movies that he's been in, but that's so super cool. Okay, awesome. Cute. Nobody knows who Svetlana is. She's just some random lady. Who is this evil Santa in the beginning? There's an evil Santa in the beginning, and this guy is Creek Wilson. He has been in this movie, but he was also in We Have a Ghost as well. He was also in Ma from 2019, and also Haunted Mansion that just came out not too long ago. So he was in that as well. So if he looked familiar to you, you might have seen one of those movies. And also the Elfman is played by Danny Cosmo, who is the stunt coordinator of this movie. So that's kind of fun. So that's the stuff I could find like on Letterboxd about these people and like what they had done and stuff like that. But I have learned some things, everybody, and that's so super fun, isn't it? But yeah, so that's what we're talking about in terms of cast. Again, TV movie budget. It's not like you're gonna get people, we weren't getting Meryl Streep or anything like that, you know what I mean? But I think, if anything, I don't have anything in terms of production history. I'm pretty sure that with Misty Talley, she is somebody who tends to shoot fairly local to me where she is. So I think this movie was shot, if I'm not mistaken, in Louisiana. So obviously she's probably going to keep that there, if anything. But like, really, there's not much else in terms of stuff to tell you that I know of. She is a teacher at the University of Louisiana at Lafayette. She is the first woman to direct an original film for SyFy. That's so super fun. And I think that was probably like Zombie Shark or something back then, because she did do that. Well, good for her when she directed that. She chose to direct shark movies because she loves monster movies and thinks that shark movies are a genre for filmmakers to cut their teeth on. And Talley stated that she loves the challenge of shooting shark-based films. She says her shark films are more of an action-adventure with camp and focuses more on the characters than similar films. Her other productions include editing productions for Lifetime and local filmmakers, and the majority of the feature films that she works on are edited in Lafayette, with about 5 projects being worked on at once. So yeah, cute. She also owns the production company Fable House, which is in Louisiana and is focused on New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and Lafayette. Okay, let's see. Yeah, cute. And yeah, she had went to the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, got a degree in fine arts, and she was going to become a video installation artist, and she teaches editing there. So that's what she does, but in her little meantime, she decided to make some shark movies. Also, there is a fun little thing if you have AMC Plus or Shudder. There is a documentary on there that is about shark movies. It's called Sharksploitation. Miss Talley is in it, and also other people are in it. And it talks all about what it's like to the history of shark movies and the history of sharks in movies, I guess, and in horror films especially. But I think that's super interesting because, yeah, like, why did we become so, like, interested in sharks at some point? And again, we're not going to get into the weeds about, like, sharks or anything like that, I promise. But, like, yeah, this is all done in Louisiana. So, you know, it's on the East Coast. Obviously, it's, like, coastal because there is water there. But yeah, I think that's really everything I have. I don't have any like special particular thing that I can like share in terms of production history. But if anything, I'll tell you a little bit about what this movie is about. I mentioned a little bit about the characters already, but I will go through a bit of a plot summary. So the basic idea you need to know is that this film in particular, it opens on a dream that our character, Cody, is having, played by Reed Miller. But we have like evil Santa. We have this like whole scene where we have evil Santa and these two people who are like, you know, trying to fight evil Santa, and evil Santa gets his ass whooped by Santa Jaws. And so then we come back to the real world with Cody and then his friend, Steve, who's played by Han Tran, and they're at the comic book shop. Cody and Steve. Yeah. They're at the comic book shop. They're talking to Clark, who is the owner of the comic book shop. And so we find out a little bit about them. We find out a little bit that Cody has been making this, character of Santa Jaws, this shark, pretty much. And then we meet Cody's family and his extended family. So we meet his mom and his dad. And we also meet Uncle Mike and Georgia, and also his brother as well, Josh. We meet him as well. So we meet all of them. That's cool. Fun and dandy. And there is some comic drama that's gone on because what happened was that, I think Peter is his dad and Caroline's his mom. So Peter works at the school that Cody goes to. And I guess Cody made like a comic about like school uniforms and how they suck or whatever. And so like he got in a little bit of trouble for that. And that just like exacerbates it because his dad is a teacher at the school. So it makes it that much more awkward. And so they pretty much ground him, you know, and all that shit. So the parents also, in the meantime of doing whatever the hell they do, like the one guy being a teacher and whatever, they also have, maybe I guess the mom does this in her, you know, for her career. They have a restaurant, or they have a annual dinner at this restaurant that they like organize. Anyway, so that all happens. So the parents go to the restaurant. We see a scene there. And then Cody and his uncle are out on the porch. So Cody, like, accidentally, well, his uncle is, like, sneaking out to smoke. And he sees him. And, you know, him and him are going back and forth, being like, cut your mom some slack. You know, she went through a rebellious stage at her time, right? This is also where Cody gets his he gets this lighter that his uncle had, and that'll come back to play later. So then we also see Pops in this. Papa, okay? He's the grandfather. And so he gets a present. So Cody gets a present from Papa. He gets this pen, okay? And the pen he uses to fill in a drawing of Santa Jaws, that he's been working on, which again, it was very beautiful. It's very beautiful. It makes sense that like Misty Tally, I guess, came from fine arts because if anything, she has a knack for finding drawings that are really pretty. I don't know if she herself is a drawer, but if anything, it'd be cool if she was. But yeah, so he uses this to kind of trace in some stuff on his drawing, and then inadvertently, he doesn't know this, but he brings her to life. So now it's Christmas Eve, and Cody and his papa, they go on a fishing trip, an early morning fishing trip, which, okay, whatever. And so they're talking back and forth on the dock or whatever, and then pretty much what happens is that Cody's papa, he has this thermos of pretty much Dirty Nog, and he Cody accidentally drops it into the water where it looks really, really disgusting, and when it's all in the water and shit. But he's like, oh, don't worry, I have a backup thermos for that. And then what ends up happening is that in the meantime, while Cody is trying to get this other thermos, his papa gets eaten by Santa Jaws. So that's what the fuck happens. So Cody's family is packing up to go to the restaurant for this annual dinner that they do. And Cody runs back, and because he sees his papa get eaten by fucking Santa Jaws, and he tells his family what's going on, but he's grounded for another week. So that all happened. That's all fun and dandy. So they leave, and all I have in my notes is pacing and cookies, because he really is. I think it's either cookies or popcorn. I think he's eating. He's just pacing the kitchen back and forth about what's he gonna do, because no one wants to believe him. So then Cody goes to the comic book store. And he finds his friend and Clark, and we get some backstory to Santa Jaws. I don't remember the fucking backstory. I think it was that she was the runt of her litter or something. It's cats or something I'm talking about right now, but it was she's the runt of her litter or something, and then she ate an evil Santa, and that's why she's evil, and that's why she's Santa Jaws, I guess. Also, it's a woman. Feminism, love it. Then we also were tipped off a little earlier to that there's this girl across the street that Cody might have a crush on. Ooh. And so we find out that his crush, Jenna, who lives across the street from him, has this copy of Santa Jaws because she also came in to the comic book store, I guess. And Clark gave it to her to check out or whatever. So then he's all all right, shit, I gotta get my comic book back or whatever. So then Cody's family is at the restaurant. They're just hanging out there, chilling, doing what they gotta do. And then there's some Christmas Eve dinner that goes on. That's all I know. That's what I have in my notes. So that all happens in junk, because again, it's something that they do at this restaurant. Cody and Steve, they go investigating because they're trying to figure out what's going on with Santa Jaws. And they're just trying to see what's going to go on. And they end up, I think, before this... No, they're just still investigating, I think, because this is where we also see Georgia and Mike. They go on the boat that Mike has, apparently, because you can tell that Mike is the older brother or something of Peter, of Cody's dad, and so he was the one who is the busy businessman with the hot girlfriend, all that shit. And then obviously Peter is the guy who stayed in his hometown, and he's a teacher at the local school and all this stuff. But yeah, Georgia and Mike are on this yacht, quote unquote. It's not a yacht, it's a regular boat. But yeah, so then Georgia is just vibing on a pool floaty in the middle of winter, which is fucking crazy, because I'm literally in Louisiana, I can only imagine that it's only so hot during the summer, or no, sorry, hot during the winter. And so I'm just like, what the fuck? This person's probably cold as shit. Also, knowing that Haviland Stillwell, I don't know exactly where she geographically is located right now. However, I know that I think she lives in LA and like generally lives there. So it's like, bitch, how, ooh, I'd be cold as a bitch. But anyway, so whatever. Couldn't be me, is what I have in my notes. Because it couldn't be me. I'm sorry. Anyway, so then Mike gets his ass eaten up because he just wants to play too much. And Georgia freaks out because her man has been eaten up by Santa Jaws. And so Steve and Cody, they go to Jenna's house because, again, they found out that they've gone there investigating, but then they're like, okay, we gotta get this comic book back. So then Georgia goes to the restaurant to be like, oh my God, Mike got eaten by blah, 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 whatever. Nobody wants to believe her. So then what they do is that the gang, the three kids, they go to Jenna's dad's boat to go get their comic book that's there and all that. So then Georgia and Josh, they go to the comic book shop because what happens is that I think it's that they're like, oh, hey, Josh, like take Georgia home or whatever. And so they end up going to the comic book shop to be like, you know, I wonder where, what's his name is, or wonder where Cody is. And then they all meet up there, and then they decide to meet up and fight. Well, they decide that they're going to fight against Santa Jaws. They decide all this. And then that's where my notes end because I think I was just enthralled in the movie that I took on. But the basic idea that you need to know is that for the rest of this, so that then like... what they find out is that in order to destroy Santa Jaws, you need to use Christmas things to help lure her to you. And then also, like, she can be vanquished by Christmas things as well. So, unfortunately, she ends up killing Georgia, who, again, was, like, one of the best characters. And Georgia, I think, was, like, sucking on like a candy cane or something, and it became a pointed candy cane, and she was actually able to stab Santa Jaws in the eye, and that kind of like debilitated her just a little bit. But yeah, so there's that. God, what else is there? There's all that. I mean, for the most part, like, you have that, like, I think his friend fucking dies. He gets killed, unfortunately. Sorry. And then also, I think little Jenna, she also dies. She succumbs as well. But then what ends up happening, if I'm not mistaken, is that the family ends up getting together. So it's... Josh ends up dying as well, the brother. But yeah, the parents and Cody, they all get together and they're like, okay, we're gonna like once and for all, we're gonna stop Santa Jaws pretty much. And so they like do things where they're at they're at like the dinner or like the restaurant, and they're like using some of the food from the restaurant to like launch into the water to like stop Santa Jaws. Like there's Christmas turkeys and shit like that. And there's this whole thing. Unfortunately, everyone dies except for Cody, I think. And then Cody ends up doing something where, like, I think he either uses that pen to, like, draw... he ends up using it to draw something different for Santa Jaws, or to, like, take her down and vanquish her. Also, we have a little part in here where Clark is a big piece of shit, and he takes the pen that Cody had left there, and he uses it for nefarious means, but then he gets his ass got too. That's a whole thing too. But yeah, I mean, it's all that. And then finally, at the end of the movie, we find out that it's all pretty much a dream. Because then you have like so it's very much Krampus in that way, in a weird way, but like, you know, spoilers for Krampus kind of, but like, you know, but there's that. It's just like, and then everyone's like at Christmas, you know, because this has been like counting down to Christmas pretty much, and everyone's at the house, and he's just like, you know, oh, like, all right, I guess everyone's okay. And then I think what ends up happening is that he uses that same lighter he got in the beginning of the movie, and he uses it to like pretty much burn his comic book, if I'm not mistaken. He just uses that to do that. And that's like the end of Santa Jaws pretty much. So yeah, I mean, that's the baseline idea, is that, you know, everyone has to get together to try to take down this fucking this shark and everything. Now, I mean, I'm trying to think if there's any like fun standout scenes that I can think of. I mean, obviously, just like Georgia in general is just one of my favorite characters. I just like how like stupid and vapid she is. She was a model for Snapstagram, so like, you know, she's just like yeah, I think she's just more vapid than anything. She's just like this kind of influence or stereotype kind of a thing. So that's really what I kind of gather from her, which is fine. But yeah, I kind of like her. I like it's the camp of it all, you know, it's kind of silly. But then also just like some of the lines of the movie I think are just like really silly. Like in the beginning they have like the dream that's happening, and like the one guy when he's fighting evil Santa is like, "See you in Jingle Hell," and shit like that. Yeah, I think overall, like, if anything, this film is just like, you know, a movie that is a bad film. You know, it's a low budget film. But if anything, like, I enjoy when it could have used a little bit more sharky. You know what I mean? I would have appreciated that a little more, except for just all the people talking. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, okay, like, why do we care? But like, and really, honestly, I think like the if anything, I think the young boy Reed Miller is doing pretty good with acting, and then also like, you know, even like Jenna is actually pretty decent too. Some of the other folks are not maybe the strongest of actors, but again, it's a sci-fi movie. You have to kind of, you know, counter your expectations if anything. But yeah, I mean, that's like the big thing about that. And then honestly, I mean, when it comes down to it, like, there's not any particular overwhelmingly or overarching kind of like message to this, I don't think. You know, it's I guess the power of family can vanquish an evil Christmas shark, I guess, is what the big takeaway is of this film, if anything. But I do think that, you know, if anything, this movie is one that, I guess, if anything, like it is one that's a kind of a fan favorite of Misty Tally's work. I think people look at it of like, oh, this is a fun, festive film that, you know, is just like so ridiculous and weird that you kind of can't help but like it, you know. Or like one of the other scenes that I kind of like is that Cody's trying to stop Santa Jaws, but accidentally gives her a horn, which she could just use to like, you know, vanquish people. So it's like a whole thing where like, you know, he's trying to do some stuff to like stop her, and he just like makes her that much like more strong, which is like just really funny to me. But yeah, I mean, I think this movie in particular, if anything, like it is a movie that, you know, maybe you watch it the one time and you decide if you like it or not. I personally do like it. I think it's a fun Christmas movie. It's very much of the season, of course. That's the whole point of it. And I think, at least like, because I've watched at least the first two Sharknado movies, for example, and those movies are kind of hot garbage. So with this film, I didn't think it was as bad as those, honestly, and I haven't seen all the Sharknadoes either. But like, you know, there are movies that I think that are horror movies. I guess you consider this a horror because it's like a shark movie, and I tend to think of shark movies as like creature features, so that is a subsect of horror. But I think if anything, like I would probably watch this again over some other ones, for example. So, you know, and I think just like the overall ridiculousness of it all, I think also just lends to its rewatch factor of like, it's just a silly sci-fi movie. That's really all it is. You know, it's not something where I'm gonna try and like tout something or go deeper that what is the real meaning of Santa Jaws? Do you know what I mean? I don't think there is much deeper meaning. I really do think that it's just from somebody who, if anything, Misty Tally, like, I think she just wants to have a fun time with making her little shark movies, and I appreciate that. I like that this is directed by a woman. That's awesome. Like, I always want there to be more minority folks in the field, and women are not exactly like the most represented in terms of directing in the entertainment industry. So I want to see more of that. I want to see more people of color. I want to see more queer people. I want to see that shit. Like, why the hell not? I'm sick and tired of just a bunch of white men, getting to do what they want to do. Even I myself, as a white man, I'm fucking tired of it. You know what I mean? Like, whatever, so it's cool that like this lady who, has made these shark movies has been able to have a fun time with it, and I hope she makes more, and I think that's so super cool, so that's my little wrap up on what Santa Jaws, is, what I think about it. I mean, as just a bad sci-fi movie, quote unquote, this definitely has like cult kind of written all over it, and that can also be like kind of the criticism I'm sure people could have of like, oh well, it just feels like it's kind of aping off of that, so bad it's good type thing, or kind of what Sharknado is doing, and it's not organic of being like, oh, this is actually not a great story or whatever. And again, I'm not going to dig too deep into this movie. I don't think I really would need to. I don't think there's much there to dig into, but like, I think that if anything, like, I think just having it be a sci-fi movie is very much just like a part of the cult in general of like having those sci-fi films, but also like, it has that subsect of being in like just the shark subgenre of like the creature features, because there's all that kind of stuff. But I see why people just like it and why they would want to rewatch it. You know what I mean? I think for being a cheap sci-fi movie that was made up for TV, I think it does a good job at, being something that's fun and, enjoyable to watch. I haven't seen other movies from Misty Tally. I haven't seen her other shark movies, but I'm sure they're also, hopefully fun. And I think if anything, if I had to kind of close on it, I would say that like, I do tend to like this film, and I do tend to think that it is something where it's at least worth a watch. It generally comes on Amazon, so you can definitely find it there. So I would definitely give it a shot, if anything. I wish some of those sci-fi movies would go on like Tubi more. Some of them do, but not all of them do. And so I would wish that they could go on there just so it'd be a little more accessible for people, because then I want to watch them. But, I think that this one is worth a watch. It's a silly, fun, good time. Don't take it too seriously, but I think you can get something out of it if you like those kinds of bad like creature feature movies or bad horror movies or any of that kind of stuff. I think you can enjoy this one and kind of, get something out of it for what it is. And I think that's really everything I'd have to say about it. So with this being said, this is the one of the last podcasts you'll hear of the year. So with that all being said, I do just want to make sure before we close out and do our wrap up and all that, I want to wish everybody out there a nice and happy holiday, whatever you celebrate, whether you celebrate or not. This time of year can be kind of crazy for people, and, seeing their families, not seeing their families, not getting to see them, any of that kind of thing. But, again, just be nice to people, be kind to people. It's hard out here. Don't make it harder, if you can help it. And also just, keep the ones around that you love, and just, enjoy the end of the year and go into 2024 rejuvenated, refreshed. I'm hoping to do so with the show and everything. Got a whole lot coming up in the new year as well. But until then, thank you so much for listening. And if anything, you can follow the show. I might just do all this now. Fuck it. If you want to follow the show, I'm on Instagram, cultcinemacircle. Twitter, don't really use it a ton, but I'm on there. It's cultcinemacircle. Jesse Kremp, JESSEKREMP on Letterboxd. Be sure to leave a 5-star review, 1 to 2 sentence review on the podcatcher of choice. Google Podcasts is going away at some point, so can't listen to me on there at some point, but you can listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, all that stuff. So yeah, leave a review, rate 5 stars, follow me on Instagram, whatever. But with all that being said, though, I do just want to wish you all a great and happy holiday, like I said earlier. And thank you so much for listening to the Cult Cinema Circle podcast. And remember, sometimes you just gotta jump the shark. Take care, everyone. Bye.